And the nonsense that is being propagated out here, have you heard of this? That even your mothers will tell you, hiyo uchungu itaenda utakapozaa. That pain will disappear. Your menstrual pain will disappear when you give birth. Hey, oh my God. Like, listen, like I need to give birth so that my menstrual pain disappears. Does it even connect? So you believe it anyway, because of course that's the only source of information that you have. And maybe your mother has given birth and she doesn't experience that, even though she experiences the pain. Pain of giving birth is more than the pain for the menses, unless you have endometriosis. Cortisol is a stress hormone, helps you manage stress. And the weird part is some of those hormonal contraceptives actually block the production of this hormone. When they block production of this hormone cortisol, women are unable to handle stress. And this is the reason why they start getting depressed. Okay? So understand that. So now we have the adrenal hormones, the cortisol and the aldosterone. We also have the progesterone itself, and then we have estrogen, and we have testosterone. All of them are coming from progesterone. This begs a question. Is this the reason why men come from women? Is this the reason why woman has man in it and female has male in it? Could it be the reason why that is? Because all the hormones that are called the sex hormones actually come from one hormone that is a female hormone that is called progesterone. So if you don't eat fatty meats, if you don't eat saturated and animal fats, if you don't enjoy the sun at least 30 minutes of every day, you already have issues with low cholesterol in your system. You also have issues with low vitamin D because vitamin D also comes from cholesterol. Now, when you have low cholesterol or cholesterol deficiency and you end up taking a drug that is supposed to lower your cholesterol levels, which is a statin or a fenofibrate, basically a fibrate, you're going to make it worse for yourself because you're going to have deficiency in vitamin D. And guess what? We will now have a drug for you for the bones, which are the calcium supplements. We will now have a drug to boost your immunity. We will now have a drug to help in kidney functions and all that. Okay. And then once you lack vitamin D, of course, immune goes down. Now there's a drug after drug after drug after drug because of antibiotic therapy that will come in when the bacteria are just actually capitalizing on that to just affect you. Okay. So be warned. So the hormone aldosterone is the hormone that controls blood pressure. Yes, is the hormone. Thank you, Angela Mudhoni. Aldosterone controls blood pressure by excreting water when the fluid balance goes high. Yes. So it's this simple. You have cholesterol, you break it down to pregnenolone, you break it down to progesterone, and then progesterone is now divided into estrogen, testosterone, and then adrenal hormones. On the adrenal hormones, one, we have cortisol to help you fight stress. Number two, we have aldosterone to maintain or control your blood pressures. So when your fluid volume in the system goes up, when your blood volume goes up, this hormone instructs the kidneys to urinate more, to release more sodium. Once that happens, your blood volume goes down, your blood pressure goes down. This is the reason why when you are on hormonal contraceptives, one of the side effects is hypertension, because you will have low cortisol, you will have low aldosterone. Therefore, you cannot tell your kidneys to excrete salt and water, and that raises your blood volume. Once it does that, your blood pressure goes up. So therefore, this is the reason why women who are on hormonal contraceptives, always their blood pressure is high and they get the palpitations. Sometimes they get so panicked when they are nearing their periods and they're wondering what is happening. And actually, we've normalized it. We've normalized painful menstruation. We've normalized tension and anxiety during menses. We've normalized cravings during our cycle and ovulation. These are things that are abnormal. Don't normalize them. They are abnormal. So we are still on number one symptom of hormonal imbalance. Number two, of course, I told you that nowadays we see children or girls as young as 9 years experiencing their first menstrual cycle, and we are normalizing it. This is happening in the Kushite nations or areas who happen to still practice early marriages. When they see that first menstrual cycle, that lady is ready. A 9-year-old is already ready to get pregnant. Can you imagine that? There are some cultures that we need to walk away from. You can't be that crazy. There are cultures that we need to walk away from. So children as young as 9 years getting a menstrual cycle, and they start getting breasts at 8. 8 years they have breast already. And now they become a prey to these young boys who totally have no control over erection and ejaculation. This is the reason why most of these people are being raped for no good reason. And like literally, rape is one of the most disturbing and the most heinous crimes that a man can ever commit. The psychological torture that you put in this lady, in this girl as she grows up, the physical trauma that you put into her, the hate and emotions that she starts developing inside. Please, let's not even talk about that. Anyway, number 3, of course, heavy and painful menstruation. How many of us are going through painful menstruation, but they think it's normal? How many of you, until you're diagnosed of endometriosis, that's when you start thinking that now it's time for me to be cautious? How many of you remember that celebrity, that artist who was formerly a radio presenter, I think? I don't know if she's back on radio, but that reggae radio presenter who actually suffered serious endometriosis until her lungs started to collapse. So all of you as Kenyans, you had to changa money. Of course, you had to contribute something for her to just go to, is it China or something, to just do a surgery. Do you remember that person? Do you remember that celebrity? Like, we normalize pain during menstruation until we get to a point that you're suffering you're diagnosed of endometriosis. And that's when you start giving it attention. Sometimes I don't blame you because there's so much misinformation out here and you cannot know what is good, what is right, or what is wrong. But most of the times it's ignorance because most of you don't listen. So of course it's like you're replacing the pain. When you have you've given birth, the threshold of pain is so high that the menstrual pain cannot even attain that. So I think that's the only thing that we replace with thinking that, hey, now when I've given birth, there's no more this. But you will still give birth, still experience the same menstrual pain, but still think that when you give birth again, it will be better for you. You've heard of that? That once you give birth, your menstrual pains will disappear. That giving birth neutralizes menstrual pain. So let me ask you, now you're a modern woman, you give birth through CS. How will that take away your menstrual pain? How? So painful menstruation is not a normal thing. It is supposed to be attended to, and you attend to it by lowering your estrogen levels. We'll talk about how to lower estrogen levels. Another thing is polycystic ovarian syndrome. When I talk about polycystic ovarian syndrome, this is basically forming cysts in your ovaries. And this is a very common one. In Kenya, there is a foundation that is supposed to help women recover from PCOS. That foundation is run by a lady who is still obese, but she is a PCOS survivor. Underline the word survivor. Of course, she's still on survival mode because she will still go under the blade again. Why? Because she's still obese. She still eats bread because she shoots videos eating bread. She still enjoys sugar. And she tells you that now she started a Kenyan PCOS foundation. Join in. If you're suffering from PCOS, if you're suffering from fibroids, you can actually join in. They will help you know how to get medication. They even have the nutritionists on their interviews to just take you through how to eat fruits. Hey, kazi ipo. Hey, kazi ipo. Another one is endometriosis. So if you get endometriosis, simply know your hormones are imbalanced. Another one is the polyps, those sacs, those fluid-filled sacs in your uterus, in your cervix, in your ovaries. That is still a hormonal imbalance. That depression that you're going through, and please, we already said that on this channel, we don't accept mediocrity, we will not accept depression. Clinical depression is a lie. Of course, we do go through depressive states and low mood, but that is not clinical depression. If you go through those low moods, you have to fix your estrogen. If you're a man, you have to go to the gym, you take cold showers and fix something. You have to find a job. If you don't find a job, you'll have to create one. Or else nobody cares. The world does not care that you don't have a job. You'll have to seek for help. But going to hospital And then the doctor diagnoses you sorry, of clinical depression, that now you're depressed and you need to take a medication. You're being lied to. Clinical depression is a business, same to hormonal contraceptives. And if you realized, most women who are depressed, they either have a thyroid problem or they have hormonal imbalance, which is basically estrogen dominance. Now it's time for you to start learning. So we give you hormonal contraceptives to help you control birth. Yet we know birth control is not in the hands of women. We make men so effeminate by giving them bad foods, alcohol, and normalizing stupid lifestyles. We even make sure that all social media platforms, nowadays, if you open a simple video on YouTube or on other platforms, sorry, YouTube is a little safer. When you open a video on any social media platform, just a video, the ad that is coming there is either a woman twerking or a woman in a miniskirt. So now, they are even providing room for men to masturbate. They're even providing you with the woman of your dreams. And now we have the AI, artificial intelligence, that can actually design a woman depending on how you search things on Google. You will get that woman, the woman that you've been searching on that porn site. She will come on every ad that you're going to open. Every app you just log in, an ad is coming in. A woman is twerking. An ad is coming in. Just the same thing that you searched about 8 hours ago. And now it is becoming hard for men to stop masturbating. And guess what? They have limited the amount of information that is out here about masturbation. So simply provide women with hormonal contraceptives, make them weak. Weaken the men by giving them porn sites and making their life so effeminate and hypersexualization of every media platform. And then control them through the media and the food, because whoever feeds you controls you. After that, now sit back and wait for 7 years. Start dishing drugs for each and every symptom of what they are going through. We know that when men estrogen goes up, testosterone goes down. Men become effeminate. Man boobs are there. Emotions are there. Buttocks are growing. Your hips is expanding. You have a very narrow voice. You're so indecisive because of the emotions that are coming in. And now once that happens, anytime you try to interact with a woman, you're effeminate. The woman feels feminine energy. And then you're rejected every other time. And the fear of rejection takes you into masturbation. And now you're stuck into that demon for a lifetime. They end up finding a wife for you, but you still have sex with her in bed. Don't not satisfy her, but run to the bathroom to just go and masturbate. Anyway, again, people who suffer from heart disease, most women who suffer from heart disease and thyroid problems, you should actually check your estrogen levels. So these are basically the symptoms of imbalanced hormones. When you talk about hormone imbalance, we are saying in men, estrogen is higher than testosterone. We are saying in women, estrogen is higher than progesterone. Because remember, women have these two hormones, progesterone and estrogen. They're being produced by the ovaries, and when you get pregnant, they start being produced by the placenta or the uterine wall. Now, as you age, your ovaries start to age. When they age, they will be unable to produce estrogen and progesterone. Therefore, what happens? The levels of these hormones start going down. Now, there's a gland that God designed perfectly that is on top of your kidneys. It's called the adrenal gland. That is a gland that will start producing progesterone as you age. Now, remember, as you age, estrogen is not as important as you want it to be. You want progesterone more than estrogen because progesterone is the happy hormone. This is the reason why they say a happy home, a happy wife, a happy home. Why? Because of the progesterone. So if you simply top up on progesterone levels in your woman, you will enjoy the rest of your life. Unfortunately, we feed these women with estrogen. Man, listen to this. You feed your woman with estrogen through sugar, through all those things that we'll mention. And then when estrogen levels go up in relationship to progesterone, these are bills loading. This is estrogen dominance. Bills are loading here because of the surgery that is coming with fibroids, PCOS, the pains and psychological trauma that she'll take you through when she's suffering from that endometriosis and that painful menstruation. The vaginal dryness, so therefore sex experiences become so weird and so annoying. The heart disease, now you have to take her for heart surgery. All those tests that you're going to do before even that surgery will cost you a lot of money. And this is the reason why men should step up, because men think that when you put your woman on contraceptives, you're actually solving a problem. No, it's temporary. You're actually making yourself weaker, because anytime you ejaculate aimlessly, you're becoming more weak. You're becoming a zombie by day. So you think when you put your woman on contraceptives, now you can enjoy sex without protection. You're wasting time. Now, ladies, if a man puts you on contraceptives, if your man wants you to be on contraceptives, buy condoms. Simply buy condoms. If he refuses, you settle for the wrong one for the 13th time. You allowed your emotions to control you, or you allowed your emotions to blind you from thinking in the right direction. So therefore, you settled for the wrong one for the 13th time. This basically will prove that you are wrong. You are actually bad at making decisions, because this is one of your most valuable and sustainable decisions that you can ever make. Choosing man to marry, or to get married to, sorry. So if that man that you chose is the same man that you look at, you're wondering, how did he grow fat? How did you end up arguing every single day because of his emotions? How did he end up becoming so emotional and effeminate? That is your choice. That is who you chose. You have to stick with that choice for a lifetime. And if a man puts you on hormonal contraceptives, it's time to just, like, literally, it's time to say no to some things. Because only weak men can put women on contraceptives, hormonal contraceptives for that matter. Why? Because men know that this is coming with a burden of problems. It is going to bring a burden financially and emotionally to them. There is no man who wants to come back home to a noisy woman. That therefore means there is no man who will feed that woman the estrogens and then come out and complain that I have a noisy woman. Again, that is your choice. You made a choice. You made a choice to take this woman. You will live with that choice, because choices have consequences, whether positive or negative. So you'll have to bear nobody will care who advised you. You'll have to bear the consequences of your decision. And then you made a choice again to feed this woman with bad foods. That was not, as if that was not enough. You still went ahead and made a choice to put her on hormonal contraceptives. So all these choices are yours. You're just suffering the consequences of your bad choices. And they will not stop. By the time you're going for one surgery for PCOS, of course, one of your children is unable to go back to school. If you've been supporting your parents or your siblings, of course, you'll now have to cut the budget of the money that is going to them. Why? Because you cannot handle this with the same job that you're doing and with the same side hustle that you're doing. Health is very expensive. You cannot manage it. So most women who are suffering, the reason why in my weight loss groups, I always tell the women, make sure they do a thyroid function test so that we ascertain that their thyroid is okay, because thyroid issues is actually a symptom of estrogen dominance and hormonal imbalance. Okay? Because high estrogen levels, they oppose the thyroid function, which basically means if you have high estrogen levels, and I'll still talk about how you age and how estrogen goes up in relationship to progesterone. As you raise that estrogen, you start to oppose the thyroid function, which means you start having low thyroid function. And you know the thyroid hormones are involved in metabolism and in all functions of the 8 organ system in your body. So there's no organ system that does not rely on the thyroid. Yes, the T3 and T4s. So when you have low T3 and T4s, your metabolism rate is low. Guess what is happening? You just eat a lot and you start gaining weight. You start feeling the cold feet every other time. Hypertension is coming in and massive weight gain. Now imagine you have a problem with the thyroid and you're trying to lose weight. You're on a weight loss journey. These are the things that supplement sellers will not tell you. Those people who tell you, rub this supplement on your belly in a clockwise direction. They will never tell you. When you go back, they tell you, you did the clockwise. I told you to do anti-clockwise. You will again buy another whole load of supplements to go and apply anti-clockwise. Nothing is happening. You cannot burn. I actually saw one of the politicians, the ex-politicians, going for that tummy rub and some fire or some heat being passed on his stomach to just burn fat. Apparently, I saw him again. He still has a pot belly. Even after taking that video for about 10 minutes, just show you how they do that procedure of passing fire on his stomach to just burn fat. He's still fat. You all know that your famous dimple man went to South Africa to do a liposuction. Then came out posting videos that he has now lost weight. So he's posting videos for ladies with the dimples. But he went to South Africa to do a liposuction. My friends, how do you end up spending all this money on liposuction when you can easily change your kitchen? But you go for liposuction, then still come back and eat the same foods that you've been eating. What a mess. These are people we elect in offices. These are the same people we elect in offices and we call them senior, senior. And wait until they say something from their mouth. That's when you realize they are so emotional. They have too much estrogen and they cannot fix it because liposuction cannot fix your estrogen. Liposuction cannot fix your thyroid problems. You simply pass your bad eating habits to your children, and now your children are fat. And now you say it's in the genes. It is in the genes, right? And then you post them on the internet for us to see. And then when Kenyans come after you and they tell you, hey, your daughter is fat, you start saying, hey, Kenyans are ungrateful. After all I've done to them, they still abuse my family. You just set yourself up for failure. Be somebody of substance. Anyway, so when you have high estrogen, your thyroid stops to function, you block it. When you block it, you start growing weight. So if you are a woman and you're trying to lose weight, go find out about your adrenal glands, go find out about your insulin levels, and go find out about your thyroid function tests. Once that is clear, now you can embark on your weight loss journey and start fixing the kitchen. And the good thing and the beauty about this is fasting and fixing the kitchen will actually fix your thyroid and fix your estrogen. How awesome is that? How amazing is that? When I talk about spiritual world, when I talk about spirituality, I tell women to forgive their mothers and forgive their fathers so that they get their identity and their emotions will disappear. That is just one aspect. Once you fix inside, now the physical follows the spiritual. Okay, but because this is just a carrier. But when you have a problem with your thyroid, even if you forgive your mother, when you have high estrogen, you're obese. Even if you forgive your mother, you still have high estrogen levels. So you have to fix the estrogen. You have to fix the estrogen. And fat is highly estrogenic. That's why men who drink alcohol, they just become fat. And when they become fat, a man is so emotional. After drinking that alcohol, they become so emotional. They want to, hey, they even hug each other in a club when they are singing along a song, a gospel. There are gospel songs that are actually played in a club when guys have started getting drunk. I don't know what happens to these DJs, that they just play a song that is a gospel song and every man becomes emotional and oh my goodness. Like, am I the only one who does these observations or something? Hey, maybe I'm the only one who does these observations. Every man stands up to just dance to that gospel song when they are super emotional. Alcohol has just taken over. Estrogen is here. And this is a man who has like 3 stomachs. You can easily count that these are three layers of stomach. This is a man who has hips. This is a man who has a very narrow voice and is actually singing along to a Christina Shusho song. So anyway, hormonal imbalance is a serious thing. Anyway, let's continue. So simply check your thyroids, simply check your adrenals, and check your insulin levels. And once you do that, when they are clear, now you can start fixing your kitchen. You know very well that some of you try to lose weight, but you're unable. You reach a point and your weight stagnates. That's the point you start checking these parameters. Because when you check these parameters, you realize either you're on a hormonal contraceptive, or you're into your menopause, or you are an alcoholic, so you fix your diet, but you still drink alcohol, or you have an issue with the thyroid. So once you fix those, perfect. And the thyroid is one condition that you can easily fix through the kitchen and fasting. So these drugs that you take, the carbimazoles, the propranolols, the PTUs, propyl thiouracils, the drugs that you take for anything, whether low thyroid function or high, is a waste of your time and your money.